Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today I am working on an altered book, but more specifically I'm working on a little paper piecing. And what I've simply done is just Google searched the image that I was hoping for and printed it out in color, so it has all this design, and then I just cut it out, and I went in and cut out all of this detail back here because I'm going to layer some more paper. And the image was a little bit cut off, but that's okay because I think it really is going to give some rustic character to the way that I'm putting it in this book. So here's what I was thinking. I took some blue paper and just kind of roughly cut it out to make like a sky. And then I used some white pigment ink. My favorite pigment ink is Colorbox. And you can use any ink or paint that you have. Paint would work really great too, or chalks even. And as you saw in my last video, I am good with finger painting, getting my hands in the ink. So I just dip my fingers in here and just kind of roughly put some white in there to add like a cloudy sky in the background. And it's this funky shape because I'm just gonna put it behind here, and you can kind of see how it adds the sky right there. We could be happy with it and leave it just like this, but of course that's not my style. So I also took a circle, and you can use any kind of punch that you have, or just cut out a circle if you're good at that on your own. You can trace like a cup or a glass or whatever you have. And then I used some distress ink, and I used spiced marmalade, just this one here. And then I just kind of inked around the edge like this to give it this distressed color. And I'm gonna add this sun behind the mountain here, like so. And you can turn it however you feel looks best. We can leave it kind of in the middle like this. We could put it lower for like a setting sun or a rising sun. You can kind of off-center it, however you want to do. I'm not going to glue it quite yet though, because I want to do some eyelets. So this is a train, and you can see the little wheels. I thought some eyelets would be a really cute little added touch there. So this is a form of paper piecing. Normal paper piecing, you would cut out all of these pieces in paper and kind of piece them together. Mine is just kind of an altered digital printout image, but it is a form of paper piecing because we're adding those layers and piecing it together. I don't like to get so caught up on the technical terms, and just like to be creative and just see where that's going to lead me. So I have these kind of like a rose gold or copper color eyelets, and I'm gonna see if I can get them to fit in the wheels of these little carts. So I think that would be really cute. How many do we have here? Well, I don't know if we'll be able to do that one because it's kind of half-half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my gosh, I have exactly the right amount of eyelets, you guys. That never will happen again. This color that I chose. Excuse my slowness. I'm still recovering, or not recovering, from eye surgery. And it has definitely made crafting different and more difficult. But I am coping because crafting is really what puts me in my happy place. So I'm doing my best to make it work here. All right, let's punch some holes. So of course, if you've seen my previous videos, I love my crocodile, and this is the crocodile that will help set the eyelets too. So we're going to use the smaller hole to punch for the wheels, and then we want to make sure. So the crocodile, you can pull this down and spin it to adjust for your eyelet size. So as you can see, that's the really big one. We don't want that. We want this one for the little one, so we're just going to pop that right back in. And you can also change this side too, which is the part that goes behind the eyelet and smashes, but I find I usually will leave it on this setting here, and it works pretty well for me. So let's punch some holes. I like to do all the holes at once and just see how that goes. Ooh, I haven't used this with one eye yet. This is not very easy. Okay, so this is really thin paper. This is just printer paper. So we want to be a little bit careful to not get too close to the edge, but I still want to make it look like it's a wheel. I kind of messed that one up, you guys. I may have to print this out again. I don't know. We're going to see if we can make it work. There's the one thing I'm learning about this new way of crafting. I have to just be open and willing to try things again if that's what I have to do. And honestly, that's kind of the beauty of paper crafting, is that you can just continue to layer over things and, you know, just continue to be creative and work with it here. Okay. I'm getting it. Yay! Okay, so we do have some holes. Got a couple more to go here. And sometimes when the paper gets stuck in this, you just can poke it out like that. All right, so we've got these delicate little holes. I say delicate because they're really close to the edge of the paper. So we're just gonna set our eyelets in and give it a good squeeze. Being gentle not to tear the paper. So now we're gonna use the other end of the crocodile. You use a little pronged piece and go through the hole of the eyelet. And then you just give it a good squeeze. If it's not turning out right, or it's really bumpy, try changing that bottom setting. I usually have a habit of leaving it on one setting, and it's not always best for the eyelets that I have. So not always best meaning they'll sometimes get bumpy or they won't flatten out. So we'll put in another one here. Well, this fine detailed stuff is just not going my way, you guys. I think I dropped it, but I'm not totally sure where. So we're just gonna keep going here. check how it's turning out, so we're going to turn it again. See if that'll do a little better. Alright, you guys, I'm back, and I managed to get all of these eyelets in here in this paper piecing, or decorated image, whatever you want to call it. So now we're just going to start building it. On top of the smoke, I was thinking I might add a little bit of some glitter. I'm a glittery girl, so we'll just add some sparkles when we're all done here. Some of the other things you can do to it too is, you know, you can add other die cuts to add other elements. We could add this guy like in the background back here, just to add some extra. But I think I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it. So I'm gonna use some liquid glue because I don't really care if this one gets too bumpy, because it's already kind of bumpy. And what I mean by that is sometimes the liquid glue will warp your paper. But I'm all good with that. My glue is getting close to the end. Here we go. Okay. One nice thing about liquid glue is that it doesn't dry so fast that you can't move some things around if that's what you need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the blue first, because then I can decide where to put the sun. I did cut this with some sort of reasoning here, but it's not very apparent at the moment. Okay, there we go. So we can see I've got the clouds at the top, and now depending on what kind of printer ink you use when you print your images, sometimes liquid glue will smear it, so just be aware of that and be you know, kind of intentional with whatever it is that you're printing. And with all things paper, just keep an open mind, because if you don't like how it turned out, you can always do it differently or again, or you can layer over it, whatever the case may be. See how this liquid glue is kind of making it a little bit bumpy? That was what I meant about, you know, the bumpiness or warped or whatever. We could totally go along and make some extra mountains or whatever we want to in the back, but I'm good with it, and I'm just going to leave it there. And we're going to put some glue on our sunshine here. I think some of the most fun parts of paper crafting is just watching the layering come together. You can really build so many fun things and make so many great layers. Okay. So this, I'm going to go ahead and lift this little mountain up. And we're going to slip it in the background. Wow, see, that was a little more quick drying than I had anticipated it would be. And now we're getting glue glue over here. Liquid glue can tend to be messy, but it usually dries clear, so just keep progressing on. I am good with this, I think. Like right there. I'll just stick this right back on top of here. Try to flatten it all out. Now my paper was thin because it's just printing paper, so while I'm moving it around and trying to get some of this bumpiness out, I have to really be careful that it doesn't tear. Wouldn't be totally the end of the world because I'm kind of going for a little more of a distressed look, but get another wet wipe here. Wet wipes are handy to have, or even just a wet cloth while you're working with liquid glue. So you can just, and see some of that printer ink is coming off, so just be aware of that while you're working. For me, all of these colors kind of blend nicely for the project that I'm making, so it's okay. Now, one other thing you can do, like see where the sun is here, it's leaving a ridge. You could also cut out this mountain again and just kind of layer it over. That's a really fun thing to do with paper piecings, is just to keep layering and adding dimension. You could use some pop dots and just pop it up, but I think I'm good with this how it is actually, and we're just gonna go with it. So add some glue to the whole thing, and we'll get this laid down where it's gonna live. Now I have all of these eyelets back here, so I want to get some glue kind of close to them so they just lay down flat and stay where they're going. But I don't want to put it in the center, really. Time for some new glue. There we go. So we're just going to get it kind of close. And around. Keep that glue on its side so it'll stay. Now I had a layout in mind already. Gonna go with it. These are just some photo mats, so some cardstock, it's textured, and then I've inked the side of it with my Versa Magic Jumbo Java chalk ink. And then this is gonna go right down there. And so when I'm putting photo mats down, I want to be mindful that I'm going to put photos on it later. So keeping, you know, just the edge covered or a way that a photo could slip underneath those elements is really important. I get that a lot from people when you're making layouts or pages ahead of time for scrapbooking. They say, well, how do you put the photos on? Well, a lot of the elements are left where you can just slip the photo underneath the corner, or you can cut the photo down to size, or layer over it. Okay, so this one, these eyelets are gonna just kind of keep it there. Put this here. And then I have some cactuses that I wanted to put on the side. These cactuses are from the Tim Holtz Village Sizzix dies. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, let me move this. Scooch up just a little bit. There we go, that's a little better. So this is the cactus, and I've just cut it. I've cut out the whole Village die cut. It's a Biggs die from Sizzix. And so when, actually I think I cut this out on paper that is adhesive backed. That's what this white is, I think. Yeah. So since it's gonna be right here and I'm gonna have a photo here, I'm gonna leave this piece not sticky. So to do that with this adhesive backed already, I'm just gonna let it tear. And so we'll leave those portions covered. So this part is sticky and this part still has the backing. So we're just gonna build a little cluster right here. And I cut these out using textured cardstock that was adhesive backed already when I purchased it. It was in like a little 4x6 stack. And then I just inked with that Jumbo Java chalk ink. That seems to be my favorite right now. Okay, so this one is also on that same die cut, and it's not adhesive back on this one. So we're gonna have to put some glue, but that's okay. And I'm trying to decide if I like it on the outside or on the inside. I think I kind of like it on the outside, but I might do this little guy over here too. Add some extra. No, I think maybe that's too much. Just go with it like this. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay. So for this one, I'm gonna use a dimensional pop dot just to give it a little extra height there. So I've got some pop dot or dimensional foam here. And I don't want it quite as high as it is. This one is a really thick one, so I'm just gonna cut it in half. If I can find my scissors. Guys, I'm telling you, I used to lose stuff as a crafter, and now as a partially blind crafter, it is even harder. But okay, so I just cut that right down the middle. It was like this. Just cut it right in half. So it makes for some dimension, but not quite as high. I feel like this book is gonna get pretty bulky already. Oops. I guess it helps if you remove the plastic covering on the back. I'm not sure what's going on. It's not sticky right there, so I'm just gonna add some glue. I think I already did remove this backing, and it's just not sticky, so that's okay. I normally will add glue anyways, just to make sure that it sticks like it's supposed to, and you don't have to rely just on that adhesive that's already comes with it. Okay, so I've been turning it over here, and that's just to make sure you can't see the pop dots from the front. So we'll just add a little bit of this tacky glue. All right, and then I'll just add a layer right here. And it kind of gives us some more depth. It shows like there's a background, a middle ground, and a foreground. And again, the nice thing about that liquid glue is I can kind of move it around a little bit and see where I'm happy with it going. Okay. So I think this is going to be the completed page here. I haven't quite figured out yet what I'm doing with the opposing page. But I know it's going to include this little thing, this little photo mat here, and some more cactuses, and yeah, we'll just keep working. So thanks for bearing with me today, guys, with all of my visual issues, and I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Thanks so much.